the particular job. So accordingly, particular job. So whatever the job is there, or whatever the cost incurred that particular job, exactly that cost we are going to distribute for them. So here means when we distribute the particular job for particular cost, so accurate cost we are able to find out. Profitability analysis. It will help to analyze the individually profitable analysis. When you completed one particular job, what is the profit, what is the cost? To analyze that, it will be help. It can be useful also. And cost control and budgeting. See, cost control and budgeting is the two are different techniques. Cost controlling means what? When you know the cost is increasing or when cost is expanding, we are able to control the cost. So that is the main technique of the cost control accounting. So cost control, cost budgeting means controlling the cost and estimation for the future budget. That is nothing but a cost control and budgeting. And pricing decision. So to determination of price per particular product, if you know the cost of that particular product, then only you're able to decide the price. If you don't know the cost of the product, you are not able to decide the price. So to make the pricing decisions, to decide the pricing for the particular product, this job costing will help. And performance evaluation, when you do more than 2 or more jobs, so what is the performance of individual job? Which one is giving the high profit, which one is giving the low profit, where the cost is, where we are identifying the cost very highly and where we identify the where cost very lowly. So that performance evaluation purpose also we are going to use that job costing. And legal, financial complaints and resource allocations. So to use the maximum resources and optimum utilization purpose of resources, this job costing we are going to use. What is the features of job costing? So features of job costing generally we classified into 3 features. That is, each job is unique here. Earlier I mentioned that, and cost tracked separately. Each cost is each job is the cost is separately treated, and direct cost assigned easily. And this particular job costing, we are not able to find. We are not able to find the indirect cost. Maximum 90% of the cost which is relating to the direct cost only. So each job is unique because order based costing only we are going to do this job costing, and order based costing only we are going to do the job costing. At the same time that each particular job order is different and each cost is different. So that is the reason it is a unique. And cost tracked separately. Each cost is separately treated that. Individually we are going to record that. And once we recorded in that particular cost for that particular job, again we are now need to maintain the same thing for the next particular job. And here maximum costs are incurred only direct only. Objectives of job costing. First main objective is ascertain the actual job cost and determine the profit and loss account, assist in the pricing decisions. So these factors are very similar to the previous important factors. First, ascertain the actual job cost. So it means what? To know the exactly cost of particular job. So that is nothing but ascertain the actual job. And determining the profit and loss. Determining the profit and loss means, so once you know the cost, automatically we are able to decide the profit. So when the cost plus margin, that is nothing but a profit. So to decide determining of for whether it is profit or loss, we are going to use the jobs. And assisting in pricing decisions. Already earlier I said that to determining the price of the particular job, we are going to prepare the job cost sheet. And advantage of job costing. Advantage of job costing is first one is the accurate the cost determination. So it means what? We are going to allocate the particular cost for the individually, and better pricing strategy. So there are different pricing methods are there. So among that all the pricing methods, which pricing is suitable, which pricing strategy is suitable for that deciding of that particular price. And cost comparison and control. So among the various jobs we are going to compare and we are able to control also. Disadvantage of job costing. Time consuming record keeping, it is very difficult, and high administrative cost involved when the jobs are different, when the job costing, when the jobs are when more than one jobs are there, for each and every job individually we have to calculate. For that all we have to allocate the labors, and for that all we have to allocate the supervisors. So it is very difficult to administrative. So because of these various jobs, there is a high administrative cost will increase. Time consuming record keeping, and it is takes more time. So within time we are not able to do that. It takes lot of time for the recording of each job. So this is the overview about the job costing. Next one is the batch costing. Batch costing means what? Batch costing is used for the similar products, so which are produced in the groups, batches, rather than the individual. So previous one we taken only individual job and individual product. But here batch costing is talks about the use for the similar products at a time we are going to produce. The costs are assigning entire batch. That total whatever the cost incurred, that cost is we are going to divide n number of products which we produced. So cost per unit is always it is constant. So features of batch costing. The cost accumulation, cost include the material, labor and overheads are collected for entire batch, not for the individual job. At the same time, cost per unit is calculation. Total batch can be divided into number of units in the batch. So whatever the cost incurred and whatever number of units we produced, individually unit wise we are going to segregate the cost, and used in the industries producing the identical items in groups. So generally these batch costing we are going to observe pharmaceutical industries, government manufacturing, food processing area, auto parts of production. So this area we are going to implement this batch costing. So for example, I will give that pharmaceutical industry means what? When you produce one drug, that one drug not only we are going to produce one, that similar drugs at a time we are going to produce more than 1,000, more than lakhs. So that is the example of the batch costing. And contract costing. So contract costing means what? Contract costing is specialized from the job costing. The contract costing is for the large scale and long-term project only. Such construction of buildings and bridges, civil engineering works, generally we are going to observe the contract costing. Each contract is treated as a separate cost unit. The costs are accumulated for the material, labor and overheads, and subtracting all these things. The payments of contract costing based on the work completion, and profits are made based on the recognition of work completed. So this contract costing generally 90% of the cost we identify direct cost only. Only few less, very less and very small proportionate of the indirect cost we are observing the contract costing. For example, contract costing company building highways will track the cost, material, cement, steel, labor, site expenses. So these are some examples for the contract costing. So process of contract costing. So contract costing is specialized from the job costing, and job costing generally it is short term, but contract costing is a large scale project. So this cost estimation is very difficult. So before starting the contract costing, detailed cost estimation is prepared. It includes material, labor, equipment, subcontractor cost, and overheads. That will ensure that proper pricing of the profitability required for the evaluation purpose. And next one is the recording the expenses. So as earlier I said that here in the contract costing, 90% of the cost is direct expenses only. So indirect expenses we are going to we are going to observe very less. So all direct and indirect expenses related to the contract costs are recorded, and material, wages, equipment, rental and administrative costs are monitored, and it helps to tracking the cost over in the maintaining of the budget control. So this is the recording of all expenses. So whatever we recorded, that 99%, 90% is the direct expenses, remaining few only, very less of the indirect expenses, but all expenses were going to be recorded. And progressive billing. Contracts after long time, so payments are receiving the stage. The billings done based on the work completed, usually the milestone as a percentage of total work. So here process of billing is nothing but if the work is 100%, how much proportion of work is completed, based on that work completion work, the billing is going to be processed. So there is a rules are there up to 0. Up to when the work is completed up to 25%, less than 25%, that time we are not going to pay the any bills. So when the work is completed more than 25% and less than 50%, we are going to pay the work bills 1/4 of the work completed. And when the work is completed above 50% and less than 75%, half of the amount we are going to pay, that is nothing but a 1/2. So profit recognition. Profits are recognized based on the work completed, the percent of completion method. The profits are recognized based on the work completed, the percentage of completion method. When the contract is fully executed, completed contract method. So we are going to apply the completed contract method and ensure that accurate financial reporting, I avoid the permanent revenues. So this is the process of contract costing and comparison of job costing versus contract costing. See, comparing of job costing with the contract costing. So first definition, the method of costing used for the customized jobs and small scale projects only, that is job costing. But in contract costing, a method used for the large scale projects, contracts where the costs are accumulated for the each contract is separate. So scope. So generally job costing is the short term and specialized for the particular jobs and orders only. But in contract costing, applied for large and long term projects such as a constructions and infrastructures. And duration. Generally, job costing duration is very short period, usually completed within the few days or months. But long term project extend over the multiple years. So it will take more than 1 year also. 1 year and n number of years also it is going to be continue. And cost accumulation. The costs are accumulated assigned the individual jobs. But here costs are accumulated for the entire contract and tracked the progressively based only. And payment mode. Payment is revealed upon the job completion as per agreement. So payment here in contract costing, payments are made based on the progressive billing, milestone or periodic payments. The cost recording, direct material, labor, overheads costs are assigned to specific job. So in contract costing also, these cost of elements all are included. At the same time, overheads also we are going to take and extra subcontractor cost, charges and site expenses also additionally we are going to be record. Profit recognition. Profit is recognized when the job is completed. But in contract costing, profit is recognized periodically based and work completed based only. And industry examples. So some printing industry are for and furniture making, automobiles, repairs, customs, manufacturing. These all industries are examples of the job costing. And constructions, shipbuilding, roads, bridges, projects, real estate. These all are the examples of the contract costing. And levels of customization. Here high as each job is unique, but here levels of customization is medium but often follow the contractual specification. And controlling of monitoring. So cost control job specific allow the quick adjustment and it is required to maintain that there is different budget adjustment over the long period. So next one is the process costing. What is the meaning of process costing? So process costing is a costing method which is used for the industries when the production is continuous and products pass through the multiple process before the completion of that production. So here, when you want to produce any product, we are going to introduce the several products. So once the one process is completed, that particular work, and immediately it is going to be sent for the next process. When they completed second process of work, immediately they are going to send for the third process. So that is the reason the process costing is a continuous costing method which is used in industries where the production is continuous and products pass through the multiple process before the completion. The costs are accumulated for the each process, then divided into units produced in the determiner per unit of cost. So individually individually each process, what is the cost incurred and that particular cost or for how many number of units are there. So end of the particular cost process costing, unit cost we are going to calculate. The purpose of this process costing, first one is that to determine the cost per unit when the mass production is industries are there, and to ensure the accurate cost allocation, it is continuous and production environment, and to assist the pricing decisions and cost control by the analyzing of process efficiency, to help the management for the decision making purpose. So these are all the purpose we are going to implement this process costing. So cost per unit. See, before talking about the job cost, unit costing, I already said that when the cost incurred per particular all the job, when the batch costing, when I am talking about the batch costing, that time I already said that we are going to take the entire cost of that particular jobs or particular batch, and n number of where the total cost we are going to divide it for the n number of units whatever we produced. So when you know the total cost and n number of units, automatically it will be help to calculation of the cost per unit. And also this process costing will help to know the cost allocation for each stage of the process. And after deciding of the allocation of the cost, we are going to decide the price. So it will be help for the decision making purpose also. Scope of the process costing. Generally this process costing industry is used in the mass production and standardized products. This process costing is applied chemical industry, textile industry, cement industry, oil refining, food processing, and paper industry. So these are all the situations we are going to observe. And it involves the multiple stages such as a raw material processing, manufacturing, and fishing and packaging. So these tracks of cost relating to the material, labor, overheads for the each process we are going to allocate individually, and stage wise we are able to know that cost. And features of our process costing. So here standardized production we observed, and the continuous process we are observed, and each process we are going to allocate the cost. So this is the features of process. So standardized production means what? So when we are before producing of the products, when we produce the mass production, n number of products, n number of units. So that time we are going to use the process costing. And continuous process means what? Once we are going to send this manufacturing process, one process to another process, until it become a finished goods, we are going to send it. So it is a continuous process. And each process we are going to allocate the cost separately also. And comparison of job costing and process costing. So these differences, this job costing is different and process costing is different. Job costing at a time we are going to produce and we are going to allocate the cost at a time only. But process costing involved, we are going to introduce the raw material until it become a finished goods, the cost we are going to segregate unit price. So that is the major difference between the job costing versus process costing. The application of industry. So already before I said the application of industry, it is chemical industries, textile industries, cement industries, oil refining industries. These all are the job process costing only. What is the different terminology, whatever covered under the process costing? Generally, in process costing, we observe the different terminology like process loss and gains. So these process losses and gains we classified into three categories. That is the normal procedure of loss, abnormal procedure of loss, abnormal gain. What is the normal procedure of cost? When the cost is when the loss is incurred in normal course of business, so it is expected and unavoidable loss in the production. So general loss, it is nothing but a general loss. So because of the reason of the normal loss is spoilage and standard wastage and normal wastage. So this is the causes we are going to observe. The accounting treatment. So when you prepare the process cost, that normal loss we are going to credited to the process costing only. So abnormal loss. Abnormal loss generally unexpected loss and excessive loss beyond the normal limits. So abnormal loss means what? For example, we given input 1000 units. There is a 10% of normal loss. So 10% of normal loss, that is 100 units of the normal loss. After deduction of normal loss, our actual output is 900 units. But here, when the output is 850 units are there, remaining 50 is the unexpected loss. So excessive loss beyond the normal units. Generally, our normal output is how much? 900 units. But here, 850 units only there. So that is called as a abnormal loss. So this abnormal loss, because of it arise when the machine was failure and when the efficient labors are not there, and the material when it is not quality, when it is not quality material using in the production. So that situation, abnormal process loss, we are going to observe. Treated as a, so this abnormal loss also samely treated as an expenses, and it is going to be debit to the profit or loss account. Abnormal gain. So it is exactly opposite of the abnormal process loss. So the reduction of actual loss and compared to the expected loss. So our normal units are more than the our expected units. We are going to receive the abnormal gain. So it is improved when it is going to get, when the improved efficiency are there, better quality of material is there, and when there is efficient labors are there, and when we are going to use the plant and machinery without wasting even single minute also. So that time we are going to get the high quality of production and maximum massive production we are going to receive. So this can be treated as a income, and this can be treated as a income, and it is going to be recorded in the product P&L account. So giant product and byproduct. So giant product is different, byproducts are different. Giant product means what? When we are producing one product, additionally when we are going to produce the same with the using of same raw material and labor and other overheads, when we produce the other product immediately, that is called as a giant product. And byproduct means what? Instead of when we are producing one main product, so when we are not able to finish that main product, so with the using of the same material, if you made another product, that is called as a byproduct. Giant product is different, byproduct is different. Byproduct is the additional product, giant product is the continuous equal product for the other one. And this yeah, this is the entire story of the byproduct and a giant product. So next topic is operating process. Operating cross. Oh, yeah. Next one is the operating process. See, this operating costing, generally the costing in generally, this we are going to observe in the various sectors. So costing in different sectors. See, when there is a transportation is there, when there is a hospitals are there, when there is a canteen is there, when there is a hotels are there, when there is a restaurants are there, for each area we are going to observe the cost. So that allocation of cost is nothing but a operating costing. So for example, I am talking about the transportation costing. See, transportation costing generally we classified the when you are calculating the transportation costing, first step we are going to classify the cost classification, that is classification of cost, that is nothing but a fixed cost, variable cost and semi-variable cost. And relevant transportation related data we are going to gather, that is data collection, nothing but a number of kilometers journeyed and number of passengers are occupancy filled, and what is the driver salary, conductor salary, and bus maintenance, bus depreciation, and maintenance expenses, all that relevant information we are going to calculate. And after that, cost determination we are going to do it. So classification of cost means what? In your textbook, there is some problems relating to the transport costing. Whatever the cost incurred in the transport costing, we are going to segregate, that is based on the nature of the cost, fixed cost and variable cost and semi-variable cost. So after that, we are going to determine the cost of the product. And powerhouse costing. Powerhouse costing is nothing but a energy cost and distribution cost. Energy cost talks about the whatever the cost incurred to generate the particular cost. And distribution cost is to allocation to send the cost, whatever amount incurred. So that is nothing but a distribution cost. Similarly, canteen expenses. Canteen expenses talks about the whatever the canteen they're providing the food and labor cost is totally cost we are going to take, and number of plates how much we sold that is be treated as a revenue. So here to make that food and to whatever amount we paid for the labor cost, that all the cost we are going to take. So inventory management means talks about the whatever stock we purchase for the purpose of food. So whatever used material is there, whatever work in progress material is there, whatever completed material is there, that all that we are going to take. And hospital costing is nothing but a patient costing and service costing. Generally here, whatever the cost incurred, it is per patient, how much they paid, number of beds, how much is there, how many beds are filled, how many beds are vacated. So that all are we are going to consider the total cost we are going to segregate. So this is the story about the sector costing is nothing but a operating costing. So this is the story. This is the story about the process. This is the various different costing methods.